Welcome back, everybody. I'm AJ Fabrizio, and this is Highly Educated. We're here with breaking news. There was a historic event that occurred, but before we get you get my thoughts on it, I'd like to kick it over to my co-host Matt to do a little bit of an analysis on actually what occurred here in Florida.
Yeah, hey, AJ, thank you so much for the introduction. So I want to talk about what actually happened yesterday on June 7th. So Governor DeSantis officially vetoed Senate Bill 1698, and that would have effectively put an end to Florida's hemp industry. So this veto shows that when the hemp industry effectively organizes itself into a singular and cohesive voice, tremendous amounts of impact can be made at both the state and federal levels. So AJ and I want to take the time to specifically thank the leadership of organizations such as the American Healthy Alternatives Association for helping to bring awareness to the industry. And we also want to take the time to thank small business owners and consumers for collecting themselves into a cohesive voice and bringing actionable policy to the legislature. So on that note, AJ, I want to take the time to discuss the statement that was issued by Governor DeSantis to the Secretary of State. So the statement begins by explaining that the governor already signed comprehensive legislation pertaining to hemp products last year. The governor correctly explained that Florida law already prohibits the sale of hemp products to people under the age of 21. It already prohibits advertising to children. And more importantly, Florida state already requires food safety and sanitation standards for all hemp processing facilities here in the state.
I think that's great. And I'd like to take a moment also to give credit where credit's due. We'd like to, as a group, both Matt and I like to thank everybody who was involved in enacting those regulations and those rules. Former Agricultural Director Nikki Freed, Holly Bell, and everybody who worked in or around or with the Hemp Advisory Board here in Florida. So, it's really great to see that Governor DeSantis acknowledges that. And Matt, were there any other points or that caught your eye that Governor DeSantis enumerated in this letter?
Yeah, I wanted to say that the governor went on to highlight small businesses as being, and I quote here, the cornerstone of Florida's economy. So while he found some of the bill's goals to be commendable, he ultimately felt that the bill would, and I quote, impose debilitating regulatory burdens on small businesses, and that would ultimately derail its intended impact.
Yeah, no, I think I could not agree with him more, and I do recall also there were a few points that he suggested, not that he didn't want further legislation, but he suggested in the future next year that certain things be pursued to help make this industry more safe, in his opinion.
Yeah, AJ, so I'm so glad you brought that up. The governor asked the legislature to begin considering legislation for hemp products immediately next year. It's just that this time, when they're considering what laws to write, he wants them to consider three important topics. So the first aspect of the industry involves quality control. When he's talking about quality control, he's considering new regulatory initiatives such as random inspections, enhanced product testing protocols, or even more comprehensive labeling to better communicate the effects of some of these products to the consumer. So the governor is hoping to develop guidelines for attributes such as product origin, health claims, and even dosing instructions. He really wants to make sure all of these products are sold behind the counter, and he wants to make sure they're sold in areas that are away from children, away from areas that are frequented by children and their families. All of these are very common. Exactly, yeah. All of these are common sense solutions. So.
Absolutely. And then I think there was one final thing, at least that caught my eye, and I know we've talked about it a little bit. There's been a lot of issues and mixed feelings about the Florida Department of Agricultural Consumer Services. Could you expand upon what he references in his letter about that?
Yeah, AJ. So there's one conclusory statement that caught my eye, and it's something I believe the industry should acknowledge. The governor states, and I quote, "In the meantime, I encourage the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services to continue using its full existing authority to root out products that violate Florida law." So, if you've been following AJ and I, you know that we've been discussing the differences between legislative definitions and regulatory definitions. You also understand that FDAX has been going around exercising regulatory definitions instead of legislative definitions. And you may or may not understand what that means for your business. So, if you're interested in learning more, go ahead and check out this video we made about that exact topic.
That's wonderful, Matt. Thank you again for your time and your expertise. I'm AJ Fabrizio. This was Breaking News with Highly Educated. This is my my co-host, Matt Guenther. And as always, we really appreciate your views and your time.
Yeah, thanks so much, AJ. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Matt.